Hi, it's Andy Bush, keynote speaker and economist at andrewbush.com, speaking on the future economy and opportunities for growth for a lot of different clients and for you right now today. I want to go to the 3 F's for this week, kind of covering some big things that happen and then maybe a look forward to what's going to come in the future. But the 3 F's are the Fed, the filibuster, and the fight that happened up in Alaska on trade. So let's talk about the Fed. It kind of blows my mind that people were so sanguine, so like, oh, the Fed is fantastic for what they said this week because they're going to keep interest rates low forever. And thinking that the bond market would not react to this, it kind of blows my mind. I mean, think about this, right? So there's $10.4 trillion worth of stimulus working its way through the economy. Another $1.9 trillion is going to hit it. And then we have the vaccines working through and things are improving there. So we're having a booming economy and people believe the Fed when they're not going to move on interest rates. Are you out of your minds? I mean, we're going to be at 5%, maybe 7% growth for this quarter and next quarter. And for the year, people are expecting 6.5% growth for the entire year. Why would the markets not react to that and think that inflation is going to come from all of this government spending, all of that? It's estimated that there's $3 trillion worth of savings that have occurred globally with the pandemic and people getting stimulus checks. I mean, it's just a recipe for inflation. And we're seeing it pop up in a lot of different places already, right? Stock market. Obviously, we're seeing, when you see risky assets go up that significantly, especially in the tech stocks, you've got some issues going on here. And of course, in housing, anybody who's tried to buy a house recently knows exactly what I'm talking about, especially if you're trying to buy in places like Texas, North Carolina, Florida, or Arizona. These are insane markets right now for housing. So keep that in mind. Just like when the Fed says that they're not going to raise rates or they're comfortable with what's going on, do not believe them. They change their mind as the data comes in, and we're already seeing inflation pop up. So put that aside. Okay, on to the filibuster. The filibuster is really interesting. I wrote a piece this week at andrewbush.com in the research section. Get it if you want. Sign up for the newsletter. Comes out about once a week. But my point on this is so many people are saying this is never going to happen. Don't worry about it. Mitch McConnell came out and warned everyone about what Republicans could do if Senator Schumer, Majority Leader Schumer, moves forward on ending the filibuster for everything. He talked about just even the basics about having a quorum where you have to have 51 senators there to actually get business done and how they could disrupt so many things. This is McConnell, right? He wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal and then he did some interviews as well. So if you want to read those, check them out. But my point on the filibuster is this. Democrats are not going to get anything done legislatively for the next 2 years. It isn't going to happen. They got the stimulus through, and that's through budget reconciliation. They'll get one more shot at budget reconciliation with the 2022 budget that's going to be upcoming. Beyond that, I mean, if you want to get something done on energy and the environment, if you want to get infrastructure done, if you want to get affordable housing done, that is not going to happen with any Republican support. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying that those are the best policies. What I'm saying is if you were a Democrat, the only way you're going to get this stuff done is if you find a way to navigate ending the filibuster to get votes done for those. So that's where I think the rubber meets the road, and where pressure will build on senators like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema out in Arizona. Manchin's from West Virginia. These are Democrat senators that have said that they will not vote for the filibuster. There's going to be intense pressure on them to do so, I think. And you'll see as Biden tries to reach out to Republicans to get something done on infrastructure, this is going to be their next play for what they want to do from a spending standpoint and policy standpoint for the economy. And they won't get anything done. And that's when they'll start to turn the trigger, try to find a way to end the filibuster, maybe specifically just for infrastructure, but it'll lead to some other things happening. So that's what you want to keep an eye on. If they go full bore on ending the filibuster for every policy that's out there, then this is where things can get very ugly in the Senate, and a very scorched earth policy will be forthcoming from Mitch McConnell. So keep that in mind. All right, lastly, we had an interesting meeting this week in Alaska between China and the United States on trade. Both sides were like butting heads and accusing each other of bad things happening. The United States went after China for the Uyghurs. China came back at the United States for how they treat black people in this country and minorities. So it's interesting to see how they both went after each other on these issues. So if, again, in my keynotes and the writing that I put out there, this is something I've been warning people about. There is no quick fix. There's no massive change in trade policy towards China from Trump to Biden. Don't expect it. That's not where you're going to see success really going forward under the Biden administration. Where you will see success, and this is something to look for, is with the EU. That's where we're already seeing a backing down of some of the tensions on Airbus and Boeing. We're already seeing some of those things taking off of the tariffs there. We will likely see work with the United States with the OECD on a global tax for digital companies like Amazon and Facebook and so on. That's where you're going to see some progress there. So there is hope that you're going to see some good things happen between the United States and Europe and maybe even the UK as well. So the 3 Fs, Fed, filibuster, and fight. Fascinating week. I'm Andy Bush. If you like these videos, check out the next one. If you want to get them every week, click on my picture and subscribe. If you want to get my research, it's at andrewbush.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.